Welcome everybody to the Latin Nerds Network. My name is Jose and this is my review for M3GAN, the first movie out of the gate 2023. Happy belated New Year's. That being said, this is probably the best movie I've seen this year. Yeah, I know, bad joke. That being said, we got produced by Blumhouse, who's one of the best in the business when it comes to horror. Of course, co-produced by James Wan, also one of the best when it comes to horror. So two great production minds coming together here. So I was I wasn't excited to see this. I'm a horror guy, but January is not really known for great films being released. January and September are usually the dumping grounds for films. They just find and squeeze them in there. That are movies that studios won't have confidence in. But every so often, a good one might sneak in, and maybe it's this one. You never know. But I will say this: I mean, when I saw the trailer, I thought it looked pretty stupid. I ain't gonna joke. It looked terrible. I said this is ridiculous, and as I kind of drew closer, I was getting more into the idea of seeing this film. I think a lot of people were just based off the trailer. You could think it's a new age Chucky, Child's Play, and it's far from that, to be honest with you. And I compare M3GAN more to Teddy Ruxpin, which I'm dating myself because I'm sure it's maybe like a handful of people who are even going to understand what the hell Teddy Ruxpin is, but it's just creepy little mechanical doll back in the day that could talk and blink his eyes and whatever. But neither here nor there. But that being said, so M3GAN here, the newest horror film, and I use horror very loosely here, and I'll get into that in a moment here. But this movie is basically, we have this young girl whose parents died in a car accident. She was in the car as well. Now she's under the care of her mother's sister, and her sister is a tech guru, if you will, incredibly smart, working for a toy company developing new technology when it comes to toys and all that. And as a way to kind of help the girl out, she creates M3GAN, a project she's been working on for years secretly, and creates this kind of an AI, if you will, that's made to bond with the child, and they can talk and be friends and play and yada yada yada, and designed to make sure to protect her, right? But then of course things go wrong, and the doll takes her job a little too seriously, and it goes from just being a friend to taking the whole idea of protecting her to a whole new level, until she becomes a little more self-aware and things kind of go haywire. And that's kind of the basic premise of the film here. Now I'll say this because again, I'm a horror guy, I enjoy horror films. This is not that, and judging by the trailers, it seemed like maybe this might be one where almost like a stalker film with robot, and just robot dog just kind of going berserk and laying waste to different people and all that, and blood and guts everywhere, which was kind of what I wanted to see. And this movie doesn't give you that. It's not about that. It's just barely a horror film at all. I wouldn't classify it as a horror film. And it shies away from a lot of the graphic nature you expect out of a movie like this. Yeah, she does kill a few people here and there, but the violence is kind of shunned away. You don't really show it to it and all that, which is kind of disappointing, to be honest with you. But that being said, I say that not to say that makes the film bad. I say it because I want you guys to have the right expectations when walking in here. When you hear, oh, it's a movie about a robot that kills people and all that. Yay and nay. But at the same time, it's not that kind of slasher-esque style of film, which I think most people would expect. But that being said, I still enjoyed this film. It's actually a pretty good, entertaining movie. I mean, it's not going to win any awards. It's not going to, yeah, it might be the best movie I've seen this year, but it won't be in the top 10 list at the end of the year. That's for sure. But it still is fun, entertaining. I think this movie, it's a slow build-up. I don't think you even get the first real time she kind of confronts someone who's going to harm the child until about maybe almost an hour into the film. So it takes its time, but in between then, you get to learn about the robot, how it's developed, that relationship, it bonds, that technology used, and all that, et cetera, et cetera. It's almost like a, Terminator meets Chucky, if you will. But it's a lot of more comedic than I thought it was going to be. And not saying it in a good way. It's meant to be that way, particularly by the CEO of this toy company. I thought he was actually kind of an interesting character, and I kind of liked it. He brought a lot of the humor to the film. And I liked the doll and the interaction. It is pretty creepy in terms of how she interacts and how she sounds and all that. But for the most part, it's fun, entertaining film. It's just not one that if you're looking for horror, if you're looking for someone just going to town on people and slashing them up, this isn't it. This is not that kind of movie. And again, not to say that's a bad thing, but if that's what you're looking for, look elsewhere. If you just want to have a good time, there are some horror elements to this, but usually what you see in the trailer is what you really get out of the movie in terms of the kills that she goes on to, that she inflicts, if you will, and ultimately I think it's only like 4 or 5 people die in the film, and maybe 4, to be honest with you, and again, The movie's more about the robot taking control, learning, you know, as far as her behavior, and, you know, really wanting to protect the kid at all costs, no matter what those costs may be. Like I said, it's well done. I like the fact that it's kind of comedic. You know, it's got some really cool scenes to it. There's some creepiness here and there. The only thing I would say is that that struck me odd. I was driving home thinking, okay, you know, trying to see if anything with the movie that really stood out that was kind of awkward. And I'll say that there's, you know, the woman who, the aunt, I guess, who's taking care of the kid, who develops this technology, and you know, it's a prototype, and she does really no testing. She just creates it and, you know, hands it over to this kid about doing, you know, making sure it's safe. And I found that kind of odd. I'm like, well, that's usually not how it's done. And she does mention testing down the road, but I figured once you want to test something, you're gonna leave it alone with the kid 24 hours a day to be sure it works. But whatever, neither here nor there. It's a small gripe. It is what it is. I didn't take away from the movie, but it's something that I did think about. But nonetheless, listen, I was entertained. It's funny. It's interesting. I like the premise. It's just not exactly what I wanted to see. But by the same token, I'm not gonna downgrade a film because it didn't meet my expectations. That's on me, right? But as far as myself, taking responsibility here. This is a new year. I want you guys to go out there with the right expectations when you see a film. You want a horror film, you want blood and guts and chase scenes and all that. This is not that film. But it's good. I liked it. Entertaining. It does have some horror elements. So I'm still recommending it. Because beginning of the year, what else? You've probably already seen Avatar already. Say nothing else out there. You want to go to the movie, see a good time. I think this one's going to, you know, bring a couple of smile a few faces out there. I think it's worthy enough to definitely watch in the theaters. So that being said, brand new year. You guys want to check this out of the gate? Let me know, comment below. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.